It is so great to be here. I would love everyone in the chat right now. Give me a 1 in the chat if you have used an AI tool for work or fun. So go ahead if you're able to, just give me a 1 so I can kind of see how much experience. If you haven't used AI, you're just kind of checking it out. Go ahead and give me a 0 so we kind of know where people are at. I want to make sure people are where we're at. So we got some background. What we're going to do today in the next couple minutes is just talk about how to understand the strategy of AI, how to use AI to solve problems, and how to build with it. And so we want to take some of these great ideas that we got from Justin and Matthias. We want to take those and put them into action, right? So the first thing we need to know is, how can we approach any AI tool that we encounter? Because more tools are coming out every day. Things are moving quickly. And so as business owners, as community leaders, we need to be able to see those tools, quickly test them, and put them in context and decide if they're good or not. So the way you're going to remember that is with this. This is a sandwich. You can see I put extra cheese in. You'll notice there's 3 parts, right? There's the bread, the cheese, and the bread. So this is a vegetarian sandwich here, maybe not allowed in Uruguay. Needs some meat. But the AI sandwich is how you can approach any AI tool, which is everything starts with a human, right? So the human is the bread. That's you asking a question, giving it instructions. The AI is going to then do something, right? It's going to take action. It's going to create an image. It's going to create a video. It's going to answer your question. It's going to create data analysis. But then at the bottom is the human again, right? The bread again, because you're going to take that output and do something with it. You're going to edit it. You're going to share it. You're going to improve upon it. And so AI is a dance, right? We don't do one question and get the answer, what's called a one-shot prompt. Instead, we do what's called multi-shot, where we give an answer, we give a question, we get an answer back, we go back and forth. So the more you can break things up and think about it as a sandwich, you're going to have more success. So as we build workflows here, and any AI tool you encounter, this is how you want to think about it: is what am I going to put in? What am I going to get out? And then what am I going to use or do with that again? And you might have multiple sandwiches stacked on top of each other, right? The back and forth. So the second framework, we have the sandwich, but then we also need to make sure we have a ripe sandwich or a ripe fruit. So if you're familiar in English with the word ripe, that's a piece of fruit or vegetable that's perfect. It's ready to eat. So when we encounter an AI tool, we want to use the ripe framework to take action. So the first step of the ripe framework is the role. This is where you tell the AI how you want to behave, because an AI just is like a puppy. It just wants to make you happy. It's going to do whatever it can to answer your question, even if that's making stuff up, because it just wants you to be happy. So what we need to do is tell it what to be. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to practice. And I think the easiest way to create a role is with what I call the XYZ statement. So think about saying you are an X. So I'm going to say you are an SEO consultant, right? Doing Y. So creating a keyword list for Z. So for, I don't know, retailers, right? So there I just made my XYZ statement. You are an X creating or doing Y for Z. This is how we're going to give our AI a role. So go ahead right now. You can do it on a piece of paper or in the chat or wherever. We're going to use this in a little bit. So I'm going to check if you did your homework. So go ahead and make your XYZ statement. Now we're giving the AI a role. Second thing we need to do is the inquiry. So the I of the ripe is an inquiry. So an inquiry is simply, please create X, right? So please create maybe keyword clusters for a shoe store or something like that. So that's going to give me, some keywords that I might use for my shoe store. So that's the inquiry. So we got the R and the I. The P is parameters. So parameters mean the edges, right? How far are we going to let this AI go? And what are we going to tell it to do or don't do? So the best way to create a parameter is just to say, make sure to do X and don't do Y. So make sure to include at maximum 5 words and don't include broad match terms, right? So that's kind of an SEO thing. So we're basically telling it what to do or not do. That's how we keep it from going off the rails. Because again, it's going to go as far wide as it can to get us an answer. So we want to hone it in. Now, the last thing is the E, right? RIPE. That E is the one that most people forget, which is the example. So an example is so helpful to an AI. If you say it should look like this, it's going to do a really good job of looking like that. If you're a coder, or someone who codes, one of the best things you can do is do the sandwich, right? Where you tell it what you want, and then you show it, here's an example of good code. It'll do a really good job of filling in that sandwich for you. So the example we want is, you can just say something like, a good response will look like this. And then I would paste in my keyword clusters from another client, right? And this could be an email example from your outbox. It could be a blog post you've written before. It could be, laws that you want for your city to pass to improve, or to limit carbon emissions, whatever it is, you're going to give it an example. So by using that right framework with any tool, you're going to have a lot more success asking questions, right? So that's kind of a little bit on just frameworks of how we can use any AI tool that you might want to use. So let's dive into actually doing that now. So I hope that you guys are making your right statements. You can go along with me because we're going to use that in just a little bit. So now that we know how to understand a little bit of strategy, let's look at how to use AI to solve problems. Now, one of the tools that works really well is ChatGPT, and I'm guessing for the people who shared, that's what you're familiar with. One thing people don't understand is how much better ChatGPT 4 is compared to ChatGPT 3.5. But I know a lot of us are cheap, and so I want to share this blog post with you, which is how to access ChatGPT 4 for free wherever you are. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Let's see. I guess I can't put it in the chat. All my chats are going just to the hosts and panelists. Can you make me a co-host, Augustine, if you wouldn't mind? And then everything I put in there can go to everybody in the crowd. Okay, perfect. All right, so there's a link to that blog post. I write a blog called 5-Minute AI at substack.com where I just show use cases. So this blog post is there and you can kind of access ChatGPT from anywhere. So when we're using ChatGPT, this is one tool that we can use. One thing that most people don't know is that we can actually share our chats within a team. So one of the things I don't see teams doing enough of is actually learning and sharing. So when you're in ChatGPT, for example, here on the left-hand side, you can click into a chat like this, and then up on the right, you'll see this little arrow, right? Now, this is actually going to send the chat, including all of my prompts and training. So that whole RIPE framework that you just did, now everyone can start using that chat from that point. So think of it like a tree, right? It's going to branch off. You just built the trunk, and now Augustine's going to use it, and his chat's going to go off in a different direction, and we're not going to see that. And Justin's is going to go in a different direction. Mine's going to go in a different direction, but we have the same foundation. So if you run a company or you're working with other people, this is how you get the whole team to have a similar experience, right? So think about using ChatGPT in a shared way. The most success I see with teams is they have a once a week or once every 2 weeks meeting that they just share. Here's the things that we've done well or what we experimented and worked, and they put them on a shared document, like a Google document. And that could be links to good chats, right? Because then other people in the team can use it and take action. Another way I love using AI to take quick action for a problem a lot of people have is with Gamma.app. So Gamma.app allows you to create PowerPoints from scratch really quickly. So we can go into our text transform, and I can go ahead and upload a Word document or any information I have. So here we go. I have this kind of URA, right? This is my XYZ statement. So you are a skilled SEO consultant creating a keyword cluster for a retailer. And then I could add in any details here. So I'm going to say, create at most 5 words per cluster and present to our client, showing the best options. This is very quick. But what's cool is we click generate. It's going to create this PowerPoint while we watch, and we can create the design, and it's just amazingly quick and powerful. And I think it's one of those tasks that we all hate. That's really boring. And as always, this is a sandwich, right? So I gave it the prompt. It's now creating a really strong foundation for me. Now I'm going to go back in and edit this, add my own images, take slides out, add other slides. But this solves the blank page problem, which is a huge benefit of AI. You don't have to wonder, how should I start? Now I have a PowerPoint that looks better than anything I could create, and I can go back in and just take that and use it. So that's a really fun tool. Now, a challenge I would give you if you want to start using AI to solve problems is try to replace a task in your daily life with AI. I think the most fun way to do that is go a week replacing Google with Perplexity. So Perplexity is an AI tool that does a great job answering questions. So I think about it a little bit like Google. So we can go down here to some of their suggested questions. The reason why it's so powerful is it gives you the sources to the information. And so you can not only, have a conversation and get related, chats, but then you can go back and actually see where it came from if you want to investigate the source, learn more. And it's a beautiful app experience too on your phone. So try to replace Google with Perplexity for a week and see where AI is more useful and where it's less useful, right? Because one of those things we want to do is kind of test these things out. So that's a couple quick ways to use AI to take action. Let's look at ChatGPT and a few secret features you might not know about. Now, these are going to be for the ChatGPT 4 people who are doing paid plans. But remember, you do have that blog post you can steal from me to get it for free. The easiest way to get it for free, unfortunately, is to use Microsoft Edge browser. So I know that's a little annoying, but you can use the Microsoft Edge browser. Just click Bing Chat, and you're using ChatGPT 4 when you ask for more precise answers. So that's a really good hack. It's free to use. It gets you a lot of the features. Now, one of the things people don't always know about ChatGPT is you can actually now talk with data. And so a powerful way to use it is to upload CSV files. So this could be webinar registrants, or it could be monthly sales numbers, or it could be something from your CRM. And you can upload this data and then just ask questions about your own data and have a data analyst work with you, right? So that's a really fun way to kind of take action. Not only is it limited to data, but now there's images built in, right? So you could ask it to create images. Here's me asking for here's an outline of a PowerPoint slide that I'm trying to create. And then I said, can you create this for me? It creates this. I didn't like it, so I asked it to create it more like a diagram. It creates another version. And I can just click these and now download these images. So this is built on the DALL-E 3, really fast way to create images right within ChatGPT. And if you think about, you can use this for data visualization, like graphs or images, right? So the data visualization will actually be based on your own data. It's a really great way to quickly present to people. Now, the next thing I want to show you, I'm actually going to shut screen share off and turn it back on because I'm going to hook up to my phone real quick because this is only using the mobile app. Let me share my whole screen and see if you just maybe give me a thumbs up if you can see the phone. All right. I don't think I'll be able to see you. So if you can unmute, Augustine, if you can't see it, or maybe you can unmute and just tell me, can you see this? Does that work?
Okay. Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So on mobile only, if you're using ChatGPT, it now allows audio. So you click that little headphone and we're able to talk to ChatGPT. So we can say, tell us a little bit about Uruguay and what I should know.
Absolutely. Let's dive into it. What would you like to know more about?
What's the food like?
Could you clarify which country or region's food you're curious about? There are so many unique and delicious cuisines around the world.
I want to know about Uruguayan food.
Uruguayan cuisine is rich and diverse, strongly influenced by European flavors, especially from Spain and Italy. Here are some highlights. One, asado. It's a barbecue tradition similar to other South American countries.
All right, so we'll leave that now. So that was a little look at voice chat. So the reason why this is so powerful is look at this. I think you can, I'll go like this and then share one more time. I want you to see what happens when people who don't text or write very well use audio. So this is a chat of my 8-year-old daughter using voice chat on GPT. This is what she asked it. What do you do when one friend's treating you very badly, right? And now ChatGPT is talking to her about her friendship and why are my friends being so mean to me and just me, right? So this is someone who can't type very fast, right? Or wouldn't type very fast. And something about that audio experience is so immersive. It really forces you to talk differently. And so even for adults, you can have these really interesting kind of meaningful conversations. The entire chat experience is then saved here. So you can go back and find all the answers. So if you're like me, you're in the car a lot or you're walking, this is an awesome thought partner, right? You can do business strategy, you can think about ideas and take action. So now we've talked about, kind of frameworks, a few examples of tools to use. So the next thing I want to do is show you and help you build your own AI tool right now. It'll take us about 90 seconds. So this is part of a company that I started called Chipp. And so what I'm going to do is ask you to go to Chipp.AI, which is CHIPP.ai. And I'm going to also pull up a QR code if that's easier. Let's see if maybe I'm going to pull up a QR code. I thought I had it right here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, if you're a QR code person, you can take a photo of that. So I'm going to give you about 15 seconds. Go there and you're going to create an account. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to build. We're going to use that prompt that you built previously, that RIPE statement that you did. And we're going to build our own AI tool that you can put on your own website, that you can charge for, that you can track usage on. So yeah, just head over to chipp.ai or take a picture of this QR code. Hopefully by now you have done that. And we're going to go in and dive into Chipp. So if it asks you to connect Stripe, you can do that if you want to charge, or you can totally skip that step. But what you can do is create an application in our playground. So I'm going to go ahead and click New Application. We're going to call this Uruguayan Food. And anyone who uses this can ask 100 questions for free. So I'm going to give 100 free tokens. And now I can create a whole branding experience around this, right? So I can choose a logo here if I want to. I can change the color. I can describe it however I want. And then right here is a link to my application. There's not going to be a lot to see yet because I haven't trained it. But when I go here, here's people could buy my app, right? But what we want to do after you create your app is click on Playground. So Playground is going to be where we train our AI tool. So the very first thing I'm going to have you do is do the easy version. You go in here and click on Prompt. System prompt is where you train an AI based on your ripe, right? So you are a Uruguayan cook. Give me recipes based on the mood I share in the chat with lots of emojis. And if I had an example, I would put that there. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So go ahead, if you're following along, paste in your ripe that you did at the beginning, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. So now I can just copy this link and share it with anybody, or click this eyeball to go take a look. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm feeling sad. So we'll see with very little prompting what kind of Uruguayan recipes I get and what kind of emojis that it pulls with it. Also, I'm never quite sure if I'm spelling Uruguayan right. It's so many vowels. There might be a Y in there. I never forget. I always forget if we change the Y to an I in English. It's always kind of confusing. So what we've done at Chipp is built an easy way for people to use what's called the Assistance API, which connects you to a large language model. So as you ask questions, it's going to OpenAI and using their framework. But what's nice is that you can then build a branded experience around it. So here we go, churros con dulce de leche. It's going to lift my spirits. What do you think? Does that look legit, Augustine? Have you ever eaten this? Is this Uruguayan?
Yes, it's amazing.
Okay, amazing. So there you go. It'll brighten my spirits. And I now have an app. You can see the credits went down from 100 to 99. So I'm only going to get 100 recipes and then I have to pay $3. So you can change that obviously to whatever you want. So that is the prompt experience, right? Where you're not doing anything with files. Now there's one other option that I'm not going to have you do live, but just to show you, we can switch over to the Assistance API. So what this is now you're building right on OpenAI with your own files. So not only are you prompting it, but you're actually giving it data, kind of like Matthias mentioned, that might be information it doesn't have, right? So that could be like a textbook that you wrote, or it could be a report that you have internally, or it could be the way that you write emails. And you can build these right on platform.openai. So essentially you log into OpenAI and you can create an assistant with the little robot. I'm going to go in here. So here's a bot that I've been working on. Here's the instructions I'm going to give it. Right here's the key where we go into files. And this is where I can upload any documents up to, 512 megabytes per file, I think it is. So it's really big, right? So you could basically put entire textbooks, entire things on here, and it's going to pull from that with the answers. So it's a really fun way to build a trained AI tool. And then what we do with Chipp is you just copy the assistant code, right? So like when we go back to our app, I think here, you just copy the ID and your OpenAI key, and then you're ready to share that without having to log into OpenAI. And you can also track then who's using it. So if any of you logged in and used my Uruguayan food app, I would actually see you here. And as an agency or a business, you could actually start tracking usage, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can use AI. And I think regardless of the tool, having those frameworks in mind is really helpful. Hopefully I showed some of my favorite tools that I like to use that help my life a little bit, and then showed you a little bit what's possible that you can actually build this, right? We just did that in less than 5 minutes. No technical skills required, just the English language. And I think the future of coding is English, and we all can speak a language, whether it's English or Spanish or something else. You can use that to build what you need. So hopefully that gave you a few ways to get started. And I'm so excited that we were able to kind of have this arc of what's possible, examples in the real world, and hopefully a few first steps. So I'll kick it back over to Augustine. Thanks for your attention, and I hope to connect with you online. You can find me at LinkedIn. I'll put my personal LinkedIn in, and happy to answer any questions.